Things are heating up. The Republican primaries are in the horizon. And right now, it's pretty much guaranteed to come down to either Donald Trump or Meatball Ron DeSantis.
They're not winning this election because of the split, I don't think. Like,
I don't think that, like, Ron DeSantis has a chance to
I don't
beat
think
Trump.
he does. But I think he has enough of a pull that it's going to fuck Trump over. Because you're gonna get the split Republican vote of if Trump loses, then there's no chance of a Republican win, okay? Because you're gonna have all the Trumpers who are like, I don't want to vote for the guy who got rid of Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Trump wasn't he threatening to run like independent or something?
I don't think he would. No.
No, he wouldn't. Okay. And if Trump wins, then I don't see him beating Biden. I just don't see it happening. I think this is a guaranteed failure for the Republicans, and I'm sorry if I just jinxed everything.
Yeah, I'm really feeling the Republicans aren't pulling a dub from this. It's possible they do. Hell, if they do, then it's almost certain to bring about a more culturally left-leaning era. If we do end up having a Republican win, but I really don't feel like it's going to be a Republican win in 2024.
I don't either.
It feels really like there's not enough hate for the Democrats from Democrats for there to be a lesser voter turnout, significantly so than last time. And it seems like, if anything, there are more people who once voted Republican who wouldn't now.
I do not give a fuck how sure you guys are we have like a chance to win no matter what happens.
Vote.
Go vote. Go fucking vote, okay? Because if you don't vote, you might as well hang yourself. You're not useful.
Well, okay.
Joking. But like seriously, if you spend all day talking about politics online and you don't vote, you're worth nothing. You are nothing. So go fucking vote so that you're not nothing.
True.
Like, you literally have no impact on the world if you don't vote.
True. Fucking vote. Actually have an impact on your world's politics, on your local politics especially. Local politics is really important. Like, and you can have a real effect. You can get, like, elected and run as an official, okay? But it's almost certain Donald Trump is going to win the Republican primaries, right? Like,
yeah,
there's just not even a chance that Meatball Ron somehow pulls through. And Donald Trump's already speaking about what he plans to do if he wins. So this is a tweet from Ron Filipowski. Trump says he will outlaw homelessness and arrest everyone who refuses to comply. He will then give them the option to get out of jail, to be relocated to new tent cities elsewhere where he will take care of their needs.
I wonder if he'll like transport them by train. Because that's what that fucking sounds like.
That is a concentration camp, is what he just described. Arresting and then sending to camps homeless people after making being homeless a crime. By the way, how fucking insane is it that, like, being homeless would be made a crime by the Republicans? It already pretty much is. But literally, being homeless, not having enough money to afford a home, will be a crime. Not a crime for the people who made you homeless. No. You're the criminal because you're homeless.
What really pisses me off about this topic is you get a bunch of people who, whenever you say what this is, whenever you point at this and say this is like comical fascism, they say, "Oh, you're overreacting. You're saying too much. You're fear mongering." What the fuck else do we call this? What do you call this? Can anyone say what?
Good old Republican values.
Yeah, like what else can you call shipping off homeless people after having made their existence illegal? That's just fascism. There's no fear-mongering here. This is just what's happening.
Literally ghettos.
Yeah, literally ghettos.
Yeah, like, what are they going to be fucking walled in? Are they going to have to wear, like, little H's?
Well, I mean, the fact that it's a crime implies that they're some way arrested or detained. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not just being relocated.
They'd be arrested, taken to jail, and given the option to get out of jail to go to these ghettos.
And what should happen if they leave them, you know?
So it's either jail or the ghettos. When Trump tries to make this. Okay, so let's watch the clip. Let's hear it from the man's mouth himself.
Ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that.
This is the thing. They try to frame it as they don't want help, when the help you're giving them is slavery and jail.
Right? Yeah. Literally, like, for one, jail is... like, jail and prison are, by definition, constitutionally legal slavery. Remember, the 14th Amendment?
Mm-hmm.
It's the 14th Amendment, right? I think it's the 14th. Let me know if I'm wrong, chat.
I'm not gonna...
I believe it's the 14th Amendment. Says that Slavery isn't legal, except for in the case of punishment for a crime. 13th, thank you, sorry.
13th, yeah.
13th Amendment. Thought maybe it was that. 13th Amendment says slavery is not illegal or isn't legal anymore unless as punishment for a crime. Constitutionally, slavery is still legal in this country. And that is why in many prisons around the country, they have prisoners doing labor for 3 cents an hour. Hard labor for 3 cents an hour. Working jobs in prison. And guess what? They're charging those motherfuckers a lot at commissary.
I'd say that probably the root of all problems in America at this point is like private prisons, really.
Not the root, but the root is capitalism. But yeah,
yeah.
It's one of the. It's like up to. It's towards the bottom of that tree.
Yeah, it's like almost everything is coming back to getting you in those prisons, lining their pockets.
Yep, school to prison pipeline too.
Yeah,
that's a big part of why.
It's school to prison or school to military. Choose your fucking servitude.
That's what the right wants. That's all they care about.
And that's why they want women to be breeding stock. They need soldiers to kill in war and men to put to work.
Yep, you either need to be dying in war or rotting in prison. That's what Republicans want for you.
We'll give them the option. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create tent cities where the homeless...
You know, they had those at the concentration camps in a little place called Germany, too. I'm sure they had doctors and psychologists and I'm sure they had all sorts of things like that at the camps in Germany.
Well, I mean, anyone who's been to a rehab knows that rehab is actually... Okay, I have to be careful because I don't want to doomer a post in front of a bunch of people who might genuinely need rehab. But having been through rehab myself for various reasons, the social services we have are fucking psychotic, all right? You get a bunch of dudes, if they're adolescent, you get a bunch of very violent dudes who are left together with minimal watching. Fights break out constantly. And this is in a nicer area, too. You get just kind of like prison schedules, too. Say you're in rehab. You would think if you're in rehab, you're in like a nice, comfortable place where you can heal. No, you're on a fucking prison schedule. You wake up, you shower at a certain time, you eat at a certain time, you are in a certain room. It's prison. It's just jail. We don't have the social
it's not really
services to do
what you described wasn't rehab. It was like in Florida it was called getting Baker acted. It's like when you get mental health detainment.
Well, in Texas everything's so degraded that if you're going into rehab,
it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I got Baker acted, I got thrown in with dudes who
I guess it was the kind of the same thing too. Yeah. I had the same thing happen to me because the whole like
for
thing.
Us students can choose like go to juvie or go to like rehab if you're like doing drug crime. So some dudes would be in there because they were like there was this one like heavily autistic kid, okay, like very, very non-functional, and he was in there because he had made a weed joke he heard online, and his mother was a fucking psycho, and she put him in there, right?
Jesus.
And then you would have dudes who was like who like shows me his throat. This is where I got my neck slit selling meth, right? It's a really weird environment to have someone so vulnerable as the first guy and someone like the other guy who ended up being nice, but let's say he didn't. Like, that's just asking for abuse for that one kid who was put there against his will by his fucking mother, right? Those places are a shithole. If you really need rehab, they can help you, but avoid them if you can. Like they're like a last ditch. I need to force myself into solitude to go through the withdrawals.
Merrick also lives in Texas, and apparently she has a story that very much corroborates what you said from your experience. Jesus. All right, let's resume.
Can be relocated and their problems identified. But we'll open up our cities again, make them livable and make them beautiful. We'll ban urban...
I hate the insistence that making a city livable is to make a city not have homeless people.
So we walked past homeless people today while we were like walking around today. Like this is your first time in like a big city.
Well, I've been in Houston, but like a good city, a non-shitty city.
Like one of the major big ones. Yeah. I mean, you've been I've been
to Frankfurt and stuff, yeah.
But one that is known for having like a homeless problem.
Yeah, homeless problem.
So what did you say of what you've seen?
So I've actually been 2 places that have homeless problems, quote unquote. One is Frankfurt, Germany, the drug capital of Europe. And the other is here in Seattle. And I'm going to keep it real, guys. A dude sleeping under a fucking bridge does not affect my ability to walk on these nice liberal sidewalks and use this nice liberal public transportation to not have to pay $700 in gas and become fat and fucking lethargic because I don't walk anywhere. Which is actually a big fucking critique I have as someone who became depressed. When you don't have motivation to work out, you get chubby, dog. There is no walking in Houston, Texas. You're just fucked. And I really don't think that I would take the shitty concrete hell that is the conservative ideal for the automobile industry of Houston over a few homeless people in a nice city to walk around and live in, you know? It's a pretty fucking easy choice. I do not think a lack of homeless makes a livable city. And if we want a lack of homeless, it should be because they're housed, not because we fucking arrested them.
There shouldn't be a problem with people becoming homeless. That will get rid of the homeless problem. But they literally, Republican solution is relocate the issue to blue cities. That's literally it. That's literally what they've always done. Like, the reason why there's so many homeless people specifically in those particular blue cities Republicans say are like unlivable liberal shitholes is because since the Reagan administration, Republican towns and cities have like actively bussed their homeless population to places like LA, San Francisco, and Seattle. The Republicans created that problem, ironically enough. That isn't really even a problem in the way that they claim it is, so they can frame it that way as propaganda. They're literally just anti-happiness and anti-maximizing human life. And they're willing to do and say whatever it takes to make themselves look like heroes for wanting to do this.
The crazy thing is, I'm sure you can get rich while being a good person. It's just they choose not to.
Mr. Beast proves you can.
Yeah, you know how fucking like I don't understand the thought process that crosses your mind to say I am in like a great position in life. I want to make it horrible for fucking like homeless people. Like what compels you, you know? It's not like you can't also rise to fame, get a shit ton of following by saying, hey, we're going to build sidewalks with the same money we would have been like spending building the prisons. I can't understand it.
Yeah, it's just pure evil. Republicans do not have like we're kind of forced to like pretend that Republicans are just well-meaning and they want what's best for America. But they just have a different, more traditional, backwards way of getting about that. But we all have to respect each other's opinions, and we have to go about it with the equal democratic way, and everyone needs to have equal representation in the democracy and politically and everything. And ideally, everything's in the center. The right and the left are both equally crazy, sort of. But, you know, maybe the left or the right are right on certain issues. It's like this really bizarre perspective we're all supposed to sort of, like, pretend is true. When the reality is, the Democrats, at least right now, are the closest there are to, like, actually caring about the system and, like, preserving the system of America, while the Republicans are wholeheartedly trying to decimate these systems that are in place so that they can instill their power. Because all they care about is achieving power. They say it. They need to win by any means necessary, and that's all they give a shit about. These are not good people. They are
comical.
They are imps and demons, and Satan, I rebuke you.